Being ugly by Think Before You Sleep. I've reacted to a Think Before You Sleep video for a while, so we're gonna look at that. Also, please consider like subscribing. I appreciate it. Yeah, being ugly. I know very well what that looks like. We know. I do know. I do know what that's like. I do know. Anyways, we're going in.
You know, with my wife, I've been together with my wife for 19 years, so I've known my wife at a range from, you know, like 120 pounds to almost 200 pounds. The true attraction isn't about what we look like, it's about...
Yeah, I know myself from like quite a bit from like 65 kilograms for myself to like almost or like a little over 100. I know what this looks like. It's not fun. It's not fun. Being overweight is not fun. It makes you unattractive. That's just the harsh truth. And the truth is, people don't necessarily like fat people. I know, harsh, brutal reality, but it is what it is.
What kind of a connection do you have with that person?
Yeah, but it's also nice when your wife isn't obese. I think we all need to be honest with ourselves here and just admit that we're all superficial when it comes to looks, and no man or woman wants to be with someone who they think is ugly. Which brings us to one of the latest internet sensations, clavicular.
What's going to actually get you further in life? What's going to get you opportunities in the workplace? What's going to get you...
This guy basically recently just collapsed and had like something like a seizure or something, was just like laying on the floor and like shaking and shit. So there was that. Being overweight is like one of the worst things you can be in terms of attractiveness, pretty much, yeah.
you know, dates, it's going to be looks 100 times over, and there's really no denying that.
He's not wrong. If you want to work on the most impactful thing that will positively benefit your life in numerous ways, appearance is going to be at the top of the list. So this ideology has been going around the internet for the past few years, and it's called the black pill. Today's most successful promoter of the black pill is Braden Peters, or Clavicular, who went onto internet forums and vastly improved his looks over a few years. This is called looks maxing, with an extra emphasis on the word maxing because Zoomers like to add that word to everything. Now, just to get this out of the way, I don't like Clavicular as a person.
You've been looks maxing the past few years. I've been retard maxing the past few years. We are not the same. Hi Zoom, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hello.
At all. Personally, I think he's a degenerate drug addict who is modeling some pretty harmful behaviors to young people.
An online influencer named Clavicular is being charged with misdemeanor.
Clavicular. The thing is, the problem is that both red pill and black pill are easily dismantled. They're so easily dismantled. I don't understand how they didn't even find this out yet. Cultural shift back to marriage. No more black pill, no more red pill. They did not figure this out. It is oddly kind of surprising, not gonna lie. Yeah, I think he's also degenerate. He is, I think, he's the epitome of what late stage nihilism does to society. It really just is. It also kind of reflects the black pill also kind of reflects the mouse utopia thing, where like eventually you get mice who were called the rats. I think mice was it could be rats though. Yeah, these right that were called the beautiful ones, and they only cared about their appearance and nothing else. Huh? Maybe we are them. We have the mouse utopia at home. We are the mouse utopia. Anyways, because he just looks average. I think it looks okay. I think he looks decent, right? Nothing much. Duck. Sumax.
Battery.
So when it comes to online influencer, Clavicula, wait, how do you say that again?
Clavicular, or clav, is what he's also called.
Right, thanks. So when it comes to online influencer, Clavicular, I don't like him as a messenger, but me hating the messenger doesn't mean that every part of his message is incorrect. And I also can't deny that the message is resonating with people because clearly it is based on how often he goes viral. The question is, why?
I care deeply about...
Yeah, because he goes, it's like he has some insane takes. You watched it without me, didn't you? You didn't miss much because we are both bitchless, so we do not understand shit. That's the harsh truth. The entire video was just about sailing the Red Sea. And that's it. And wanting to do it with pregnant women. That's it. You really didn't miss anything. Anyways, don't looks maxing is, but he might. Well, he's not. Looks maxing is not a person. Looks maxing is what these people do. He's not bad looking, but not good enough to justify destroying himself with drugs, pretty much.
About the struggles of the average male being unable to even find like a romantic partner. And I think that that's something that needs to be advocated for more than any political.
True. Happy men with happy girlfriends build a happy society, because remember what we learned from the home math video, right? Society is not built by individuals, it's built by relationships. And we're like a brick house, and the more bricks are doing their own thing, the more unstable society becomes. In this case, the more unstable the brick house becomes. We know this. But even good looks can't save me. So what advice can he give me? What advice could he give me? Because even good looks cannot save me.
Movement.
Yeah, so I think a big part of Clavicular's fame is because he's appealing to men who have been treated like shit because they've grown up being lied to about the ancient wisdom of being attractive matters. Understand that not that long ago, everyone knew this. It is so a part of the culture that C.S. Lewis wrote a children's book like 70 years ago where when people die and go to heaven, they get more attractive. I mean, they used to think that sinning made you ugly, which is basically true because people will treat you as if you have sinned if you're unattractive. So
Pretty much. Yeah, remember, Narnia is inherently Christian. If you have watched Narnia, I think that is something you should know. It is inherently very Christian. Very interesting. Is Clavicula worse than Jack Doherty? Clavicula is easily worse because he has more influence. Jack Doherty really doesn't do anything. He is not even relevant anymore. He does not exist. Nobody cares about Jack Doherty. And like nobody gives a shit about this version of the Flash. Nobody cares.
C.S. Lewis wrote a series to say, nah, they don't have uggos in heaven. And apparently, according to people in my comments, C.S. Lewis was even more explicit about this in his book, The Great Divorce. But understand that Clavicular is popular because he's hitting popular pain points in society pretty frequently. For example, there's a clip of him running over a guy who was blocking his Tesla, and it went viral.
Is he dead?
I don't know.
Hopefully.
Should he have done that? Probably not, but the reason that this moment resonated with a ton of people is because everyone's tired of idiots blocking the road. But outside of that, and outside of him going viral for degenerate reasons like shooting a dead alligator in Florida, the main reason that people are supporting him is because of stuff like this.
You're a content creator, you're streaming all the time. You think that if you were not physically...
The problem is that he is kind of... See, the problem why he's so popular is because it works. I mean... What at first, right, is the thing he shows, right? The women that he hangs around with are not quality, right? Let's get that right out there, right? They're not quality at all, right? They're women that leave their boyfriends for looks. They're women that cheat. They're women that just are so dumb that they don't realize their life, right? Let's get that straight out of the way, right? Straight up. First things first, let's get that out. That thing. Second, that does not matter for the young easy impressed men that are watching it. And even like men in like their early 20s, right? Seeing this. Because at the end of the day, they see the results, and that is that this man is hanging around attractive women, and they want that too. Therefore, they will try to emulate him and be similar to him because it clearly works. The reason why Clavicula is popular right now is because it works. That's what it is.
good looking, you wouldn't have as much success?
No, I wouldn't at all.
Even if you were like a genius, like Beethoven level creative, but you were busted, you don't think you'd pop off?
Well, that's the thing. So now you have to be so well off in another category to compensate for your lack of looks that you have to be a Beethoven level player in order to compete with a guy who's, just like, mogging and going to the club. It really gives people a huge advantage in life to have looks on their side.
Yeah, I think it's definitely true.
Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't build skills or a personality or be a good person. All of those things are very important and they should never be sacrificed. However, ignoring the importance of appearance is completely retarded. You need to do what's in meta. I'll say it like this. Imagine you're playing a video game. I'll use Expedition 33 as an example because recently I was looking at the meta for this game a lot. Expedition 33 has some pretty tough bosses, and you can get in there and memorize all of the attacks, do a little bit of damage at a time, and eventually you'll come out as victorious. Or you can develop a deep knowledge of how the game works, set your characters up properly, and do like 1,000,000,000 points of damage to the boss and kill it instantly. Yes, there are many ways of getting stuff done, but if you're playing a game where your life is on the line, then why would you not use the most effective build?
If I had to date
Yeah, obviously. It makes sense. It makes sense, right? If you don't look good, you might as well be treated on disability level. It might be not that harsh on that level, but like the harsh truth is that we have grown more superficial because of more access to people, right? Because like you have to look at this, right? Back in the dark ages, we had like tightly smaller knit communities, and you just took what was available. Now it's like, as a man, you have to compete with every dude. They did another experiment in a bigger city. You could guess how many likes this woman had on a dating app. Over 6,000 likes. You are not winning this. Over 6,000. You cannot if you are average, you cannot compete. And now you can say like, oh yeah, but then you just go out, right, and you talk to women. Yeah, you could do that, but that's not wanted either, right? And most couples now found that like, about 60% of couples find themselves online. You cannot win. You can't. If you don't at least take a little bit of care of your looks, lose some weight, work out, hit the gym, to get a nice haircut that suits you, take care of something that I do not do because I'm too lazy to get like regular haircuts, right? What on earth, Samax? I guess we can do that. Take care of your beard, right? I mean, if you're bald, it's probably over. Honestly.
in the year of our Lord 2025, I would be very upset. I would have to learn how to mog. I would have to learn how to mew. I would have to learn all these skills that I don't possess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that the main reason that is because of Instagram. Maybe you had a girl from your town who's going to try to date above her looks level, maybe just in her immediate surroundings. But now we've got people like, professional athletes DMing them on Instagram, flying them out. So you're not just competing with the top chads of
Hypergamy. That's practically what it is. And you can say like, oh yeah, red pill stuff, joke, right? That stuff. But it is very true. It is very true, right? We can look back, everything was a bit more equal, very much more equal. And now it's like you have like the top 40% of men being able to date, the lower 60% get nothing, and you're like completely screwed. And then all the women complain about like the top guys being shit. It's like absolute chaos. And then like all the women say all men are bad, but they only mean the selective few at the top that can just like hoe around and date wherever they want. And it's like, yeah, it makes sense. You could go out and talk to women, but you could also get the police called for that. Correct.
your 15-mile radius, you're competing with the entire world.
I'm not really sure about the whole Instagram argument. I've never seen that with regular women. However, I have seen it with social media influencers. But whether the Instagram thing is actually affecting women's perception of the dating market or not, it's clear that dating apps are, just for the simple fact that it's giving you access to people that are as far away as you are willing to drive, versus in the past, you would really only date people in places that were convenient for you to regularly.
I've used dating apps, right? Okay, Croc. Yeah, I'm aware you probably sent the video. We'll look at that eventually. Right. I've used dating apps before. And if you're like just a normal dude, right? Just normal dude, right? You're not getting any matches, right? I have I have gotten to the point where I swiped every person that could even be in reach, right? Everything that I could do, I did, right? I don't go that far. Max I go is 100 kilometers. That's the max I'd go. Um, and I have been multiple times at the point where like you just swipe to the point where like no people show up anymore. You've swiped every person in that location without like without exception, right? I've done both, right? As a test run, right? I've swiped every person and got nothing. I've swiped with selective and got nothing. Then you just know you stand a chance.
Visit. So your competition jumped by 5 or 10 times. And even though personally I despise dating apps and I think people shouldn't use them, that doesn't change the reality that tons of people do and tons of women do. Because dating apps are like drugs for women's ego, just like porn is a drug for men's dopamine system.
Thankfully, I don't use either. No more. Well, I got banned off of Tinder for making too many accounts back to back because like the only strategy I found was swipe too much.
Really, I think porn and anime camera angles are a major contributor to the incel problem. So whether you like this reality or not, because our perceptions are all warped from porn and dating apps, everyone's got to level up, at least a little bit. It's time to return to tradition and start being more superficial about our appearances, instead of allowing like 70% of Americans to be fat slobs.
I'm attractive. I never get hit on.
You have a nose ring. I can tell your politics from this angle. Nuh-uh. The algo gods decided you'd be bitchless. Nah, it's just the harsh truth. For men, they actively block you from getting matched because they want you to pay, right? And also, like, how you compete in like 6,000 matches? You don't. You don't. You just don't. I'm back. Welcome back. I just made my first short. Damn, you short. That sucks. Anyways, nice. Congratulations.
Ever. And I'm a flirty girl. I'm a real flirty girl. So, like, if somebody hit on me, like, in line at the store, I'd be all about it. Nothing. I never get fucking hit on. And I don't know why. I would love for someone to give me.
We were told no. We were told no. We were told no. Don't do that. We were told that we're not supposed to do that. And look at them complaining that we should do it, but we were told not to do it. Can you make up your mind? Nose ring plus, is that a tooth gap? That is a tooth gap, but honestly, I kind of don't give a shit about the tooth gap. What's worse is the nose ring, because that's effectively telling me, I say something wrong and I'm immediately a misogynist. That is effectively what it's telling me. It's the nose ring. I don't give a shit about the tooth gap. Who cares, bro? She might have fallen and lost a tooth, right? Some accident, right? Fine, but like the nose ring is the problem.
Me like the actual genuine reason why it drives me fucking crazy. Like, hit on me.
Oh, this one's easy. Take out the nose rings and get braces. She doesn't have to change that much to significantly improve her appearance. And stop acting so desperate. And look, I'm not saying that everyone has to chad the hell out and spend all day on looks maxing forums. That's not realistic. And sorry to be mean, but no amount of internet forums is going to turn a person like this girl into a 10 anyway. But there are things that will make her look significantly better, like a different hairstyle. Look how much better that looks. Second would be getting rid of the acne. I know that's a lot more difficult for women than men, but too bad. Third, like the other girl, get braces. 4, never do this makeup style again. Men hate this.
Lunar Eclipse, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Too much makeup. Don't like it. I liked him more before that. The acne wasn't even the problem. Honestly, see, what I'm really insecure about by myself, for example, is how do you get rid of stretch marks from quickly gaining muscle mass? Because my entire upper arms are full of it. It's crazy. It's insane. How do you get rid of those?
Personally, I don't think men actually hate makeup. That's a lie from Red Pillars. For example, this woman is wearing makeup in both cases.
Imagine
it's not like, see, it's not like I don't like makeup. I just know it's a psyop. I just know To me, makeup is a psyop to make women depend more on makeup because they use it more, which causes more impurities, so they use it more, which causes more impurities, so they use it more. That is my my personal conspiracy theory. I kind of like your OG style. That also works, right? I think just get rid of the acne if you can, or get rid of it as much as you could. I think that solves a lot of issues.
Going live for a video, having
Oh, look at Tectone. Look at Tectone. Yeah, he streams on Rumble now because he almost got banned off YouTube, or pretty much is on the verge of getting banned.
to put on a fake face of no makeup before you put on the extra layer of real makeup.
So she's wearing makeup in both examples, yet one is complimented and the other is not. What men actually don't like is this style of makeup that was popular in the 2000s. And it's the same for this girl too. Men like makeup that looks like you aren't wearing makeup. And last, going back to that prior girl and going into the next topic, I would say that she has a little bit of a double chin. If she's not fat, then I believe she can get liposuction or some sort of injection for that. Sometimes thin people have double chins, and the only way to fix that is surgery. Understand that facial aesthetics is the most important thing when it comes to physical attractiveness, so the investment might be worth it. But if she does those things, then we have a way more attractive person who will have a much easier time in life on tons of different metrics. Now, before we hit the next topic, I don't see why there's such a recoil on people trying to improve their appearances.
We've talked about maybe a neglect of the spiritual maxing, but what about even like book maxing? What about even cultivating loves for art or culture or things that yet again are not exactly physical, which make you interesting and will make girls find you interesting?
I get that people can be obsessive about the way they look, and we'll talk about that, but are you going to tell me that people should channel spirituality or become a master at a skill at the sacrifice of learning something much easier, like learning what clothes to wear or how to style your hair? Note that physically attractive people tend to have more friends, so that will give you better access to learning spirituality.
Obviously. Huh. What color are your stretch marks? If they're purple, red, you can find products to help remove them. If they're properly scarred in and gone white, you need to laser to remove them. I need to laser to remove them. Understood. Because they have scarred in. I've got these when I initially started working out. I've got these massively. My entire upper arm is full of them. It's crazy. And they are white.
Or a skill. Hell, most things that will make you more attractive are also things that are good for your health anyway, like losing weight, building muscle, fixing your posture, getting good sleep, chewing gum, brushing and flossing your teeth and cleaning your tongue, taking care of dust, animal hair, and pollen allergies, and not using recreational drugs because those will age you. And despite all the people making fun of Clavicular for hammering his face, which, yeah, that's retarded, but despite that, it's nice to see the strong return to form on how important attractiveness is in recent years. Probably the best example is that new One Piece series. I mean, holy shit, everyone hit the gym hard for that show. Even the canonically fat girl who turns thin in the anime hit the fuck out of the gym in real life. Welcome back to old Hollywood, where very few people on screen are ugly.
Yeah, too bad. Too bad. There's a thing. Too bad. It looks like AI slop, which is sad. It's so sad that it looks like AI slop. It's okay. Most people have them either from weight gain or weight love. Live with them, weakling. I hate you. I hate you. I do. How you get white scars on your white skin, Poke? If you work out and you get like muscle very fast, you will get stretch marks. And they eventually scar in then in this case. Okay, once they're scarred, it's harder to remove them. Not impossible, but harder. Can be expensive. Stretch marks really aren't important though. Okay.
Getting a double jaw surgery in a couple weeks from now. So that's probably the furthest it goes, is plastic surgery.
To be clear, I think Clavicular is retarded for wanting plastic surgery. No homo, but he's already there. He doesn't need any more looks maxing.
Why are you doing that? You're a good-looking guy.
Well, because I want to look better.
Look, I would get it if you looked like some mutant and you had some deformities and it was really messing up your life. But you're...
Yo, stop! You're talking about me! Don't attack me like this! How dare you! Hey, yo! I want to live! I'm not gonna do surgery. I'm also over-exaggerating.
tall, muscular, you've got defined bone features. Why do you need to go further?
Well, just because you're already doing okay or you're well off, is that a reason to quit? Is that a reason to sort of put the brakes on? That seems a little ridiculous.
Again, he's being stupid. However, that's not to say that things like pharmaceutical enhancements and plastic surgery don't vastly improve people's appearances. This picture has been going around the internet recently. A little finasteride could have saved this guy's life. As for plastic surgery, it's the same thing with the makeup cope. Guys don't hate plastic surgery. The same guys who will shit on plastic surgery will go goon to Instagram models with like 5 odd.
The problem is, and that's just a harsh truth, to look good, you need money. And most young men currently lack more and more of that. You can only be attractive, really, if you have money. Okay, right, weight loss is free, right? But gaining muscle, you need a proper diet for that. Most people cannot do that. That's just the harsh truth. You need money for that. And seeing how more and more men are dropping out of school, out of college, out of the workplace, out of society in general. You gotta get the men first back into their shit. And then you can actually give them that advice. But that's not gonna happen, right? I know exactly what this looks like. I am that kind of man.
Obvious BBL surgeries. What people actually don't like is bad plastic surgery, like buccal fat removals. That shit should be outlawed. Who is telling women that this looks good? However, when it comes to things like nose surgeries from a competent surgeon, holy shit does it make a difference. Again, facial aesthetics is the most important thing when it comes to being attractive. Like, I don't see why this is some sort of big spiritual crisis to want to look better. I can see why there may
Is Squidward, is that you? Moving on.
have been philosophy around this in the past, but in these days, we have technology that will fix tons of these issues. The only place where I would say it's a real problem is if you have a plastic surgery addiction. Plastic surgery can be addictive for some people, so you gotta know when to leave the table and cash out. Otherwise, you'll end up looking like a disgusting mess. For example, if you get so much plastic surgery that you end up looking like the Wizard Liz by the time you're 26 years old.
Signs your partner's cheating on you. Yeah, she would know. She would know. Yeah, diet maintaining is tough. Look at the burgers, man. It really isn't. It really isn't. So I got today 180 grams of protein simply through eating fish, and not even high calorie fish. Right? Simple. It's quite easy. It's quite easy. But like, it can be expensive to hit all your macros, hit all that stuff, right? It can be quite expensive. You need money to look good, but if you don't have money, then you're kind of cooked.
I'll be honest, I'm going to make fun of you because I care and I don't want other people following in your footsteps. Now, as for the drugs, first, speak to a medical professional, and I will say that stuff that will heavily enhance your appearance, like Accutane or finasteride, are not harmless. Accutane is for acne, and finasteride is to stop hair loss. So I will say that these drugs do have side effects. I'm not going to deny that. But I think the side effects of both are vastly overstated, unless you're a woman. Sorry, looks maxing for guys is much easier. But both of these drugs are decades old, they're well studied, and for the most part, they're incredibly safe if you work with a doctor and understand the limitations of the medication. I will say that if you want to weigh your options, there are probably lots of things that you do that are worse for you than Accutane. Again, I think it's stupid to ignore appearance.
You ever see young Hillary, like pictures of younger Hillary?
She wasn't too bad.
Can I say something that's going to get everyone mad? I think she actually looked pretty good, young Hillary.
Not good enough to stop Bill Clinton from cheating on her.
I'm sorry, that clip was
Diabolical. How much did you lose? You mean weight? Currently 3 kilograms. It's still a long way though. The initial weight loss to a certain degree is easy, but it'll get harder and harder because you need to lower calories more and more. Okay, give a medical disclaimer, please. There will be no medical disclaimer. Adapt or die.
wasn't necessary. I just hate Hillary Clinton, and I thought the statement was funny. Now, as for a final point from Clav, I actually think at this moment he was spot on.
I'm saying for young men to succeed, they need to put themselves in the forefront, and all the other stuff about, society, the direction it's taking, that needs to take a back seat for their individual struggle because they're really not doing well. Men are doing worse than they ever have
Yeah.
in almost every metric. And the only way to overcome that is just focusing on oneself to the maximum. And there's no place for any of the stuff that you're talking about in that mentality.
He's right. If you're 18 and your life isn't going well, then doom scrolling politics on the internet is not going to help you. And also, your opinions for society.
Nah, must become chud. Cannot control myself. Must become chud. Bitch, you want to get banned again? Nah, this dude is fine. He literally said that don't do it in the video, and obviously, yeah, don't do it if you're not aware of the potential consequences. I'm at 60 again, by the way. I am chilling now at 77. However, we do want, obviously, we do want 68. We do want that.
At large aren't particularly useful if you don't have your shit together. I didn't show it, but Michael Knowles spends so much effort pushing back on this sentiment from Clav. However, this is exactly what Jordan Peterson was saying 10 years ago, before his daughter destroyed his reputation. If you're asking how to create political change and make society better, then understand at 18, you don't have the power to change shit. Build yourself up, learn more about the world, and then you can help turn where you live into a better place. Anyway, it's time for some nuance. I mentioned before that I really don't like clavicular. There's a number of reasons for why, but for this last part, I want to ignore most of the drama and just focus on the stuff that's in my area of expertise.
I don't really like to talk on any issues I don't have too much authority on.
Right, that's a very mature thing to say. Honestly, I don't think he's stupid. However, what I do think is that he's promoting some horrendously dangerous behaviors to a lot of people unnecessarily, not because he's a looks maxer, but because he's a drug addict looking for an excuse to use.
You do meth.
Yeah, I haven't done meth in 2 weeks, but I do meth, yeah. Stimulants cause appetite suppressants. I'm trying to maintain my leanness, because the leaner you are, the more angular your face. And while I do use GLP-1s, sometimes that's not enough to suppress my appetite. So I need to, rely on stimulants.
What? I mean, you could just not be a pussy and deal with being a little bit hungry. You know you're telling your audience to follow in your footsteps, right?
I advocate.
True. Right? Stop being a pussy. See, I get weight, but that's also due being heartbroken and like food for comfort, right? Makes sense, right? I do that. Food for comfort. However, I can deal with being a little hungry. And the initial, right? Once you're like a certain, like, once you have a certain routine, you're gonna not be as hungry anymore after a while, right? It's like fine. Yeah, sufficiently packed. You are in comparison to me as well, though. So silence.
Against stimulants, I don't think that kids should be prescribed Adderall at the ages they are.
Yeah.
I think that people are going to misuse their stimulant prescription more than not, in more cases than not. So I'm very against it. I'm just open with everything that I do. I don't openly advocate for anyone to do this, right? I think a lot more people are going to wind up fucking themselves over, or excuse me, screwing themselves over if they are to go this route, rather than, if they were to decide, to stay natural.
Oh, right. So this guy's a real philosopher. He's a real do as I say, not as I do type of guy. Gee, no one's ever thought of that before. Clav, you know that doesn't matter, right? People aren't going to listen to you saying, yeah, don't do this thing that I did that totally worked. It's bad for you. That's not how people behave. For example, you have Trainwreck out here who profited like hundreds of millions of dollars by promoting gambling on his stream. But don't worry, guys.
Oh yeah, I remember this guy, and there was like a huge drama where they even got into like even into like criminal stuff. So that's that. You can't keep your weight as it is without meth. Eat meth, then you probably shouldn't be that weight. Probably, very much, yeah. Buddy, almost the same height, and soon almost the same weight. Soon almost the same weight. Don't you worry. I'm gonna be there. And then I'm gonna chuck you into the sun or something. You all short, don't argue. true. You were taller.
Trainwreck said that gambling is bad for you.
Do not gamble. Do not start. Gambling is entertainment and entertainment only. You won't break even. You won't win. You won't do any of that. Do you understand? You will only go into debt and ruin your fucking life. I do this because I fucking love it. I do it all the time. It's entertainment for people who can afford it. And that's it. You will lose.
Guys, learn human psychology. If you're watching Trainwreck stream, you're probably a gambling addict. I hate gambling, so why would I be entertained by some loser playing slots? More importantly, what gambling addict doesn't know it's bad for them? Of course they know it's bad.
Obviously, I feel like this does need to be said. Then again, I play gacha games, though I don't spend any money on gacha games, so we good. I don't weigh 70 kgs though. You weigh in the lower 60s though, and I'm gonna be below 70s. So I'll be getting you almost. Crazy, huh?
They can't stop, and watching people gamble triggers them to use, just like an alcoholic early in recovery gets triggered by watching people drink. I'm almost certain that Trainwreck just said that to cover his ass, and not because he genuinely has empathy for addicts. Though, honestly, if addicts are going to do stupid shit, that's their choice, I guess. I really don't have a lot of sympathy for people who are choosing to continue their pathological behaviors. But outside of that, what Clavicular is actually doing here is giving meth heads a justification for using.
If you say don't do what I'm doing, why are you doing it?
Because I have enough willpower to be able to taper off of meth.
You're going to tell me that you don't have enough willpower to deal with a little bit of hunger, but you do have enough willpower to taper off addictive drugs? This is ridiculous cope. Every addict says, but I can control it when they do drugs. And actually, because he's young.
Yeah, I said that with coffee, and then I sat there and was like drinking 7 of them a day. I'm back to 2. But I definitely developed a caffeine addiction. Almost a close one. We're not the same. Almost. Regardless, I was at 7. Now I'm back to 2. See? That's how you do it.
Right now, he probably is able to limit his intake, but it won't always be like that.
Your social experience in school, though, how was that?
What age range are we talking about?
I guess like right around 13, 14 is what I'm thinking.
Well, that would have been during the pandemic, so I was in online school.
Wow, I did not realize how young 19 was until he said he was like 14 during COVID. He also started taking testosterone around that time that he bought off the internet, so he might have been a—
Holy fuck, I feel old. Jeez. What was I doing? I didn't have the looks problems at 14, 13. I was happy.
victim of the Keffel-sponsored drug trafficking website for transgender kids. Also, Keffels never went to prison for that. I believe nobody got in trouble for it. By the way, this guy goes on testosterone for 5 years for the extreme glory of being able to bench 135 pounds.
Get it. No. There you go. Almost. Fuck. Was that
For context, this was clipped for Twitter out of context to make him look worse, but I believe he benched it 7 times, not twice. Still, holy shit, you are really weak for a guy who's on steroids. I mean, Mumdani is not that far behind you. It doesn't take that much work for a guy to bench over 135 without steroids. And I do want a tangent on this for a second.
How much is 135? I need to see. I thought it was late 20s. No, he's not. I was applying for colleges. At 13, 14? What? Wait. Back then. Okay. In kg? That's all? Wait. That's just 61 kilograms. Wait, that is weak. I can do more than he does. What on earth? And without steroids, by the way. Why I took Mumdani, bruh? Because he is tax the rich while putting more taxes on the poor. He is a very special being. Oh yeah, everything's gonna be free, right? Everything's gonna be free. And then like I'm gonna make public transit even more expensive. How much? He was pressing 135 pounds. That's 61 kilograms. I can do more than this man. Easily. That's not even a contest.
Second, because some guys think they need to gym self for like 2 hours a day to build muscle. That's not necessary. For one, from a looks maxing perspective, most women hate the super muscular look. Second, you can get a pretty nice physique and lift pretty heavy amounts of weight after some time by doing a total body workout with 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps per exercise with a 1 to 2 minute break in between, and be in and out of the gym in around 30 minutes depending on how crowded it is. Do it 3 times a week. And
it's actually even easier. Just literally do the bro split, right? Just literally do the split, right? Easy. And do like 3 sets to muscle failure. You don't need more. You legit don't need more than just do 3 sets of whatever you're doing to muscle failure, and you live. And you live. You will gain muscle, right? Because like the thing of like do like this many sets for this many reps is asinine. It's bullshit, right? Because you can do that and not hit muscle failure, and then you don't grow. You need to hit muscle failure. Hit that and you good. Hit that and you're good. Becoming a drug addict just to lift 135 pounds is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Like, stop it, get some help. For what? I didn't even do anything. Don't ego lift. I don't ego lift. I did once. 100 kilograms. I almost fucking died. I barely got done 1 rep. I'm not doing another one. I'm not trying this out again. I almost fucking died. Because I almost, like, this was almost too much.
this will build your muscle at least until you are maximally attractive to women. So this is not horrendous amounts of work, and unless lifting weights is an extreme hobby of yours, you should not be doing these crazy long workouts. There needs to be less discussion of what Mr. Olympia is doing and more discussion about what the most time-efficient thing to do is, especially for people who are nowhere near their genetic potential. You can get away with a lot if you aren't close to maxing out. But also, believe it or not, these are not the only drugs that Clab uses. And of course, he's got a moral cope for it.
I don't really think that people should be drinking and doing recreationally for the most part, and I know that would appear super hypocritical because I do it a good amount, but it's just something that I utilize for my work, for my content, because I can't really like...
Also, it's important to remember, muscle does not equate to strength. That is very important. Muscle does not equate to strength. They're not necessarily... They are correlating to a degree, but not necessarily, right? Because somebody can be very athletic and lift a lot, while somebody who looks huge isn't necessarily able to lift a lot. These don't necessarily correlate. Not fully, at least.
Function around people too well, or be super entertaining in my sober state, I think.
Using drugs to manage emotions is key behavior of addicts. That's like the #1 reason that people can't quit drugs. Let me just go on another self-improvement tangent here, because a lot of kids who are in school during COVID, like Clavicular was, have extreme levels of social anxiety, and you do not need drugs to solve this problem. You need meditation. And what I mean by that is that to get rid of any anxiety issues, all you have to do is learn how to bring your mind away from whatever thoughts are causing you the anxiety. If you can distract yourself with something else and stay focused on that for an extended period of time, the anxiety will go away, and when you get good at that, you will no longer have anxiety issues. Anxiety is actually an incredibly simple problem to solve. You know, maybe delete TikTok off your phone if you want to learn how to maintain focus for long periods of time. But like I said, make no mistake.
Nah, I need my daily dose of white women on TikTok complaining that men aren't approaching them. I watched one video, a singular video, just one. I did not interact with it at all, except watching it, right? And then my entire For You page was flooded with white women complaining that men aren't approaching them. Hilarious. It's amazing. I love it. Hey, I mean, most dudes probably can't do 50, honestly.
Clab is an intense drug addict, and he is just coping.
The worst time I got exposed for my .org threads is I used to document literally everything I did back in 2024 at work. And someone sent all my .org threads to one of my managers about me being drunk pretty much every single day, me constantly being high on blow at work all the time, just outlining all my degeneracies, how I was basically slaying. The thing is, I was so good at my job that I could do that. I could get away with being drunk literally every day.
Right, so he was frequently doing drugs, but he was able to do them at work, so I'll wait for him to call himself a functional addict. But I think you guys get my point. My primary issue is not the looks maxing ideology that made him popular. It's the fact that he's choosing incredibly short-term and dangerous solutions to his problems and then promoting them to tons of people. And worse, he's doing those things.
Or it is incredibly damaging for a gain that could have been done in a healthy way. True, it is very much just, a lot of this stuff is just cope.
Things to achieve success and results that he could easily achieve naturally, because the reality is that becoming successful is the part that's simple, especially in terms of social media. Lots of people go viral and then flame out minutes later like the Hawktua chick. The hard part is sustained success. The hard part is taking these little victories.
Remember, guys, she went from Hawktua on that thing to actually Hawktuaing on that thing. Remember, she went from Haley Welch to Haley Wench.
And turning them into a 10 or a 20-year career or longer. But everything Clavicular is doing is short-term. And what I mean by that is that the odds of him having a catastrophic downfall or the odds of him experiencing heavy complications from drug addiction is very high. The way you actually sustain success and not become one of those losers who eventually blames the algorithm for low.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't in the video, but he did collapse recently and like start shaking on the ground like a crazy person. He's already experiencing health issues.
Views the minute that people start getting bored of them is to take the long route that is slow and boring, but provided that you take the time to learn and understand the principles of success in your market, it will result in explosive growth once you've paid your dues. A decent book that lists a lot of the principles of sustained success, it's called Good to Great. You'll do a lot better listening to people who have been successful for a while than to listen to someone whose game plan is to take a bunch of chemicals that are very likely to destroy your life with addiction or cause you to die young from an overdose. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's the end of the video, and, well, there's not much to say. I think everything was said. Yeah, I think Clavicular will be gone as quickly as he came. I'm gonna be real, right? We've seen this multiple times, right? He'll be dead by 30, probably. We've seen this a couple of times, right? Tate, gone. What other like crazy person appeared and just and quickly disappeared, right? You get the idea, right? It's gonna be like for a moment, for a while, and then he'll just be gone as usual. That's the thing.